good last week, and they certainly had to be after leaking 50 points plus against the Panthers here 2 weeks ago. They're a win and a loss at home this season. Jared Croker, of course, made his return to the NRL last week in that winning effort against the Broncos. His experience and certainly his goal kicking was handy in that game.
Yeah, just his experience. You know, when you look around, you see Jace Croker out there, it just gives you confidence. He's been around for a long period of time. He's a quality player, and as you said, his goal kicking is first class. But that man on screen, Jack White, and a lot of stuff going on off the field, but I expect a big performance from him today.
There's an offer on the table from HQ here in Canberra. We'll see what happens with Jack. The Dragons get us underway. It goes down to that man in question. The catch out there. The ball blown a long way there across the field. We've got a conditions report from Darcy McDonald. It's 15 degrees to kick off this game in Canberra, but it feels like 6 with the wind chill. It's a strong westerly blowing pretty much across the ground as Hudson Young plays it here. Wolford there from dummy half, goes across to Joseph Tarpany, new father, and his wife Kirsten welcomed Illawarra to the world just a week ago. They're back with intent at the halfway line where Young will play it here. Horsburgh revving up for a chance. He's been in tremendous form, hasn't he? Pivotal player in this team now and a regular starter at the moment, again in the 13 jumper today. Tarpany comes across here to Papali'i. They'll work it down just inside the Dragons 40. And a good opening set of 6 here, as it was last week against the Broncos, with his set restart for the home side. Big chance to put some early points on the board with their first touch. From Wolford, it goes to White and skips past Blake Laurie, still going. Taken down eventually there by Jaden Sewer. Wolford to the open side. Comes from Horsburgh to Tarpany, standing in the tackle there. Jack de Belin is the inclusion in this forward pack with Murdoch-Casilla out of the game. Another set restart here for Canberra. What a chance they're presented with. Fogarty goes to Papali'i, runs into Moses Mbai, who will make the stop there just outside the 10. Tarpany at first receiver, comes across here to Horsburgh. Still 3 tackles remaining in what is a third set to begin this game. Wolford short ball, Tarpany. Hunt was there to try and hurt him infield into the meat of the defence. Musgrove was there, and so was Sewer. Wolford short ball here, Hudson Young hitting and spinning. Good defence by the Dragons. They've got 3 there, including Laurie and also Mbai. Last play here goes to Fogarty. Whiten, angled run, Kotrick to the corner. He puts a kick in, it'll go into touch, and the Dragons have done well to hang on.
Yeah, they did extremely well. 3 sets back to back. And the last play here, nice little shift to the right-hand side. And the Dragons, there in numbers to defend it if the kick went into the in goal. It goes over the sideline, but a real test for the Dragons to start this game, and they stand up.
We'll take a bit of confidence out of that performance. Coming away with a good stop there on 3 sets from the kickoff itself. We're talking about the weather. Let's go downstairs to Darcy McDonald.
Good afternoon, gents. Well, it was wet and very grey this morning in Canberra, but the sun has come out for this cracking clash. The rain stopped at the start of the New South Wales Cup game played earlier and hasn't returned, so the pitch has had a bit of time to dry up. But as you mentioned, Warren, there is a strong breeze swirling around, so that will likely have an impact on this game.
The Raiders trying to make an impact, Darcy, to begin the game. Stopped by the Dragons, and now Canberra concede a penalty. And the Dragons will have it here. Kicking will be interesting, especially to this western side. You can see the effect of the breeze there, so the kickers won't be able to get too cute on those kicks to line on this near side, the main grandstand side, during this contest. There's Musgrove. Off the restart here, we'll play it at the halfway line, and by waiting at dummy half. He's got a moan there fairly flat. Bird playing back on an edge. His career began as a 5'8". He's played plenty of edge forward, and of course in the middle in more recent times for the Dragons. But the Bellins there today in that role. He'll take it down here, 30 out on the Canberra line, and by finds a moan. He's got Bird there with him, an early kick. Pressure here on Chris. coming across. He gets to ground in time, and Lomax will fall on top of him. Chance there taken by Amon to put some real pressure here on Canberra to work it away from inside their own 10.
Yeah, and that's the type of football young Amon is. He just sees a little bit of an opportunity. He didn't have much shape on the outside. He saw some space in behind the Canberra line. He puts it in. Zach Lomax chases down. Real instinctive type of football player, young Amon.
And Canberra through Hopewadi. Bring it back here to the 30 as comes from Horsburgh. Widen. Here is Chris now on this left edge, but taken down there by Sully. But ball away Croker, who will play it there, and eventually I'm going to kick away perhaps through Whiten. It wasn't exactly out of the textbook, and we see the kick there, that wind knocking it sideways, and it was a very shallow one from Jack Whiten.
Yeah, it was a poor set end, just their systems and structure just on that last play. They couldn't get out and find the other half, and it goes back to Jack Whiten on a really short 10 or 15 metre sideline, and he just has to make a kick up, and he got lucky.
Metre short. Jaden behind the line.
And the Dragons bring it back midfield. They're 2 wins and 3 losses coming into today. Raiders 2 wins and 4 losses. Of course, the Dragons began their season in round 1 by having the bye. The Raiders have the bye next week. As Laurie will play it here. Coming by, goes to Hunt. Here's Sloan with Sully on his outside. In between Croker and also Hopewadi, but Croker did well. Now from Sloan, back to Hunt. Musgrove, they keep it going. Amon from sideline to sideline almost here. Bird drops it out the back, cleaned up there by Amon, who pounces to keep it in Dragons' possession. 2 plays left in this set. Bird to the line. And a solid contact there, Timokor up in his face, and he stops him a couple of metres short. Last tackle, it's Amon. He goes to DeBellin. Hunt. Keep it going for Sloan. Sully again. They played some expansive football in this set of 6, but eventually they're stopped short. It was Croker once again who makes another stop on Moses Sully.
Yeah, some real good footy from both sides. Some good defence from the Canberra Raiders, but some really, as you said, expansive football from the Dragons. Shifting coast to coast, challenging the width of the Canberra defence, and they were up to it on that occasion, getting it into their outside men's hands. Sully is dangerous on that right-hand side.
So good seeing Jared Croker back in action last week. Sloppy pass here from dummy half, and Papali'i done very well to come up with possession there. I thought for a moment might have twinged something there in that lunge, and now the ball is put down. Whitehead makes a mistake, and it's Lomax who has it for St George Illawarra. Bonus set here from inside the 20. Here's Blake Laurie. 2 tries to his tally in 2023 after waiting a long time for his first. He scored last year. Amon here. Said restart again. Amon gives it off to Bird. And a desperate tackle made at the line by Timokor jamming in.
Yeah, well, some nice footwork there from Junior Amon. He goes to the line, does a bit of a shimmy.
Foot on the line, boys.
Gets to the inside and then finds Jack Bird in a little bit of space as well, but some really good defence from the Canberra Raiders.
One-on-one tackle that was by Matt Timokor. Bird looked almost certain to score. Still plenty of tackles here. It's Hunt who will switch the point of the attack back to DeBellin on the run around. Whitehead couldn't wrap up the halfback. Sloan now showing it. Standing in a tackle there of Fogarty, and eventually taken down by the Raiders halfback. Midway through the set, it's Amon who gives it off to Musgrove. It's a regular starter last year for the West Tigers. It's a big chance today. And by comes out to Amon. Hunt, short ball there for Sewell. Nice stop by Whiten and also Croker. Short side again, last play. Sloan, rubbers. Picked up there by Croker, who's had a busy start to the game, but his work has been outstanding.
It has, defensively, and then just to anticipate that loose ball. One thing the Dragons don't do, they don't sort of lay a point, they don't get to a field position and then come back with shape with their 3 halves. They play footy from every field position, which is really hard to defend, but sometimes also they fall away because they can't get into position quick enough as a team. But some really exciting start for the Dragons, shifting the footy.
Up together.
The Raiders show some starch defensively, as the Dragons did. The opening whistle with 3 straight sets to the Raiders from the kickoff. Now Tarpon. He's one of the best, if not the best, front rower in the game in 2022. Fogarty's kick here. Breeze taking that a long way downfield. Looks like it's just favouring slightly the Raiders, maybe. Some blows across the ground in the main, but stopped there by Whiten. Coming up the tackle on Fiene, took him down heavily. Here's Tautau Moga, making his first appearance for the season in the NRL. Rain shower just sweeping across the ground for a moment there. Spitting rain. The crowd really rugged up, reaching for their ponchos, confirming what we thought. As here is Musgrove, taking it across the halfway line. So the Blue Skies disappearing in Canberra. That's the belt for Hunt. Here's Sewer, good stop there by Hudson Young, grabbed him by a bootlace. Now Hunt will put it in the air. Pressure here on Sebastian Chris. Xavier Savage making his return to the field of play today in the New South Wales Cup for the Raiders after being out of action for the first almost 2 months of the season with that broken jaw. See how long Chris remains in the fullback jumper for with Savage back in action.
Early days, but I think the Dragons, the way they're playing the game at the moment, feel that they can get a bit of joy over on that right-hand side of the field in and around Croker.
Boo's ringing out on one of the Dragons. The ping for being offside there. Chris with a carry to Fogarty from outside the 40. This one hanging on the breeze. Coming forward, an awkward catch there from Fiene. He turns it over. Contrick has it here for Canberra. And they'll get a full chance here from just outside the 30. Promised to be an awkward afternoon for the back three of both teams, given this swirling breeze that Darcy was telling us about. It's going to be a slow play the ball here for Horsburgh. Musgrove got tangled up with the ball carrier, Tarpany, taking it inside the 20. Stands in tackles like a colossus invariably. Laurie was able to drag him down here with some help from Sewer. Short side, Young back on the inside for Whiten with the pass from Wolford from dummy half was ruled forward by Jared Sutton.
Yeah, that was looking promising for the Canberra Raiders down that left-hand side. But the pass out of dummy half was definitely forward. A wasted opportunity in real good field position. Ricky Stewart won't be happy with that. Both sides just feeling their way at the moment. Haven't really settled down.
Make sure we're there. Have a look for the touchy. Front foot with the touchy, Jack.
And Anthony Griffin and Ricky Stewart's watching on, and our eyes weren't deceiving us when we looked at the team sheets before kickoff, Shane, with Jacob Littles. He was supposed to be starting the game, and Moses Mbai coming off the bench, but Mbai started the game. This will be confirmed with Darcy as to whether that has, and it should have, constituted an interchange for the Dragons if they've got that wrong on the team sheet.
Very interesting.
He wants to burn an interchange before you've even kicked off. So it's Laurie who brings it forward here. And I thought there might have been some work with the nature of the tackle being illegal from the Raiders, but the referee disagreed.
Wait there, hold Jared.
As Musgrove plays it here, chance to kick there from inside the 40, but they'll take it down to the last. Bird. Just popping across the field, not much happening there. Lack of intent. Those last 2 or 3 plays from the Dragons. Bird will play it here in Raiders territory. Hunt keeps it going. Sloan for Surley. Well, there's a set of 6 that had a lot of question marks over it, and most of them will be on the mind of the coach, no doubt.
Yeah, disappointing set. Really interesting for the Dragons this year. They've moved Zach Lomax over to the left-hand side, and today they have Jack Bird on the left-hand side as a back rower. They're both right-arm carries, so their best run is back to the middle of the field. If they try and beat the man on the outside, they're carrying the ball in their right arm, and it's an easy tackle for the opposition.
See how that plays out for them here today. As Papali'i begins here. Very mixed set. And now Hawker returns the favour And Sloan on the gallop runs to the sideline here. It's a free play to some extent. At some point, though, you do take your advantage. And he took a chance there by maybe going 15 metres, but heading out towards the sideline. Luckily for him, and perhaps the coach, he got down to be tackled inside the jaw. Sewer here. Takes it inside the 40. Horsburgh making the error there on his carry as the drops continue to fall here. Just a very light drizzle in Canberra from de Belin. Goes to Amone. Lomax going sideways. And just outside the 20 with 2 tackles remaining in this set. Fiona comes back to the middle. It's Amone. The bypass Musgrove. Hunt kicking, knocked down by Horsburgh. 6 more plays coming up here for the Dragons. Another bonus set here. Sewer from dummy half goes to Musgrove. He's unlucky there, Corey Horsburgh. Good play for the charge down. Couldn't bounce back to him, and he was going to motor away. Instead, the Dragons have it. Hunt. He's back on the inside here for Moga, playing that right wing. Buddy Ravalawa out for another 3 or so weeks with a hamstring strain. Musgrove takes it towards the line. They'll play it eventually. Bypass to Bellin. Hunt for Amone. No look at there for Bird. Fogarty was there. So was Tim McCall. That combination defensively has been good for Canberra early on. The sun breaks back out. Here's Mbai. Trying to make hay while the sun shines. He gives it off to Lomax. He loses it. Came backwards there. And we'll wait and see. Knock on Canberra is the call. All the touches from the Dragons were backwards, says Jared Sutton, and there was a touch there in that scramble for the ball from Canberra, which knocked it forward.
Yeah, we just see Mbai just comes out. The Canberra Raiders get off their line quickly, and he just sees half a bit of space and goes for it, and they close down pretty quickly, and then he gets it off to Zach Lomax, and very similar. Saw a little bit of space, puts it back, knocks it backwards, and as you said, I think there was 2 or 3 Canberra knock-ons, but none for the Dragons.
Fogarty's certainly got a hand on the ball there and made a bird of it as far as the referee was concerned. So Mbai off the back of the scrum. They've had plenty of chances here, the Dragons, for no result as yet. 14 plays in total inside the red zone as Mbai finds Laurie. What's happening through the middle there with Horsburgh and Wilford accommodating him. Short side here, Hunt, nothing doing. So he comes back to Amone. Jack de Belin. Once again there, standing in an offside position, hands in the air. Amone stepping. He had Wilford under pressure and he's lost the ball as he went to ground. Strong defence again from Canberra. Haven't looked like leaking points to this point. We've had almost 18 minutes of action. Step through the tackle there initially, and then Horsburgh with his hand on the sleeve, and then coming in late, Hudson Young it was who forced the mistake.
Yeah, he's looking good, Junior Amone. He's got some good footwork on that occasion. Took some pulling down. 3 Canberra Raiders in there, and as you said, the last player to come in just comes in contact with the ball and is classed as a loose carry.
Well, they set the scrum. We can confirm through the ground manager from the NRL here in Canberra this afternoon that does cost the Dragons an interchange with Mbai starting the game, despite Little being named on the team sheet as the starting number 9. That's a massive mistake by the Dragons officials.
Yeah, just hopefully it doesn't come back to hurt him at the back end of the game. That last replacement most coaches keep for the last 10 minutes. You just hope you don't get an injury. It takes away another one, you're down to 6.
Tarpany here turning it back on the inside for Lee, who takes it beyond the 40. Chance here to kick from inside the red stripe. Fogarty will go across, in fact, a long way before it puts it high in the air. Sloan is there. No pressure on him on this occasion. Makes a nice catch on the chest. And Moga it is who has it for the Dragons as they begin here at their 20. Almost midway through this first half, still no score in Canberra. first game of 2 on the Sunday ticket, live on Fox League. We'll have to go back and play it. Eels and the Bulldogs, they're next. In Combank Stadium, that will be a blockbuster. And a capacity stadium as well. Full crowd expected there between Parramatta and Canterbury. And so many great battles over the decades.
Hold there, Jared. Wait, Corey.
And Sewer playing slowly as he did. Musgrove picked off there well by Wilford, down around the hips. Good one-on-one tackle. Now Hunt. He goes with the high ball, almost no spin at all. Hard one to take there for Chris, but he took it so well. What a strike by Ben Hunt. Absolute knuckleball floating through the air. Could have gone absolutely anywhere. Chris was fantastic.
He was fantastic. He gets his nose through the line, and then his outside men come in and get their set off to a great start. Already in real good field position.
So here's Whiten. Here comes to Tarpany, who's wide. Chris is out on that left edge.
Get out there,
What's happening
Blake.
there? Hudson Young has a bit of claret flowing from a nick on the forehead or maybe the left eye. And now Tarpany comes out the back. Young, an ad-lib kick. Nobody realised it was coming. It's a well-placed one, though. And in the end, Fionney has no choice but to take it dead.
Yeah, they got a real powerful start to that set, obviously with the Chris take, and he brings it back powerfully, and then the outside backs get him off to play 1, play 2, and play 3. Really powerful, but then this strange kick. He needed it to stay in, and it did. I'm not sure Ricky Stewart, that was part of the game plan. He's done it before, but Hudson Young, he's kicked and he's kicked for himself and he's scored a try, but on that occasion, leave it to his halves.
Now Ben Hunt goes short, coming through. Lomax didn't get a clear run to the contest there with Kotrick. And the Canberra winger has it here. Set them in motion from just outside the Dragons 20. Ray Gould. First change made in the middle of the field by Ricky Stewart midway through this first half. Wolford with some stacked numbers on that left side. Tarpany was there. Takes it forward to be wrapped up eventually by Michael Molo, who's on deck today in this reshuffled forward pack. Fogarty for Horsburgh. Stopped there by Laurie. They've used up 4. Wolford heads back out to the left edge where Fogarty combines here with Hudson Young. Quick bandage job there on that cut on the left eye. Gula standing. Can't get the arm free eventually. Wrapped up by Michael Molo and also Laurie. Last play. It's Tarpany who kicks. Whitehead was chasing through. Hudson Young is kicking. Joseph Tarpany is kicking. Who's next, Shane?
Well, Zach Wilford probably have a go. All their middle forwards, it's a nice skill to have and it's a nice touch, and they've got 2 really good results. It's one thing I know the Dragons wouldn't be expecting it, especially off their front rower.
The new father. What a week he's had. He's obviously full of confidence, rolling in a grubber and an effective one as well. Hunt goes short again, once more Lomax, who's such a good leaper. It came down inside 15 metres, but Lomax didn't get there. And Kotrick again makes the catch.
Yeah, great catch by Kotrick. They're on really good field position. They go to the middle of the field and they'll probably set up to the left-hand side.
Here is Tarpany. On the running roll this time. He's put the boot away for the moment. They'll play it 5 away. Little shift on here. White was sneaking out the back of Hudson Young. Trying to catch them out, but Hunt was there to make the tackle. Tarpany. Oh, Horsburgh almost pours through a gap there. Good tackle by DeBellin. Canberra with 1 more. Fogarty, he grubbers now. A more regulation kick from a more regulation kicker, and it produces a goal line dropout again.
Yeah, 3 little short kicks, 3 results, but some good defence from the Dragons, getting up to about the 8-metre mark. Some good scramble. There was a big tackle made just on the other side of the post by Jack Bird and Jack DeBellin on Corey Horsburgh. Needed to be made.
A stack of pressure here. Both teams have had plenty of chances. 16 tackles for the Raiders inside the 20. Where's Lomax this time? He gets there to make a contest of it. Finally, but Kotrick again is 3 from 3 on catches.
And Jacob Little on the field.
Ben Hunt can't drop them out any better than he's done so far. 3 perfect dropouts, but they're 0 for 3. It's Woolford, Fogarty, Whiten from Chris, Croker here. He'd bring the house down if he could score here this afternoon back in Canberra. Whiten, he goes to Tarpon. Oh, trying to pop it out the back to Horsburgh and knocked it on in doing so. And look at the reaction from Jack de Belin and the Dragons.
Yeah, he knows under an enormous amount of pressure. 3 kicks, 3 results, and 3 big sets defending their try line. They keep going over to that left-hand side, the Canberra Raiders, and they're a bit sideways. They're heading towards the sideline, trying to get to the outside of the Dragons, and the Dragons are sliding defensively really well. And obviously they've got Ben Hunt over there. He's a pretty robust defender.
As you see on the graphic, Jacob Little now is on deck. It's Moses Mbai who goes to the bench as well as the Dragons work it away. Josh Kerr is also out there in a double switch for Anthony Griffin. Little jumping out of dummy half. His work has been sharp in that role so far this season for the Dragons after making the switch like Musgrove from the West Tigers. Molo playing. Here's Moga coming in for a carry. Conservative stuff, you can understand that after all that defence inside their own 20. Just want to get to their kick here. Hunt holds it up. Ball off the hip for Jack Bird, who is held up by Fogarty. Take him down through Tarpany. Last play here, back to Hunt again. He'll kick towards the corner. The wind blowing it towards the sideline. An awkward catch in the end there for Hopewadi, who did well over his shoulder to bring it in and know exactly where he was with the sideline looming.
The mess up with the interchange at the start of the game means that Jacob Little really needs to play the full 80 minutes now, the rest of the 80 minutes, because they can't use 3 replacements on the hooker chain. So really, unless Mbai comes back on in another position, he's off for the day.
Let's see how that turns out. But here we are with Little coming on after 25 minutes, so we'll see exactly how it turns out. Awesome buy. His utility value can play pretty much anywhere apart from the front row as Woolford jumps out and brings it down here within 40. One more play for Canberra. Slow play the ball. Whiten back to Fogarty. He puts it in the air. Some pressure here on Sloan this time. He falls to the ground, making the catch. It's an awkward one once again, but he does well. The Dragons begin again at their own 20.
Yeah, doing a lot of good, young Sloan. He's a confidence player. He gets that one and brings the ball back. He's so dangerous in broken play, and just on those set starts, he's not the biggest player, but he's robust and he'll bring the ball back strong.
Here's Kerr. So big and rangy. The front rower takes it down here to just outside the Raiders 40. And as Little finds Hunt. Now Sewer goes towards Hopewadi and Croker. Out near the sideline on the last. Suley needs to find Hunt with a good ball here. What a great one. Hunt goes to Sloan. Little short side raid. Suley for Moga. Put the brakes on, and Chris coming across takes him into touch. Good defence by Canberra. And a nice play from the Dragons. And a little shift on the short side.
Yeah, it was smart play. Ben Hunt saw the winger charging in to put some kick pressure on, and they just go back to that short side with some hands, but some beautiful cover of defence by Chris. Just gets his knees together, knew it had to be a big tackle, got his knees together and drives him over the sideline. But some nice play from the Dragons as well.
And they scored a try like that in Wollongong a couple of weeks ago against the Dolphins. And almost produced something once again there. A little trick play of theirs with a real fondness for as Starling comes in to take the place of Zach Woolford, who'll get a breather here with 11 minutes remaining before half-time. Good first stint from Zach Woolford. Whiten. There is Sarlaw, who will take it towards the 40. He'll bring it back to almost the halfway line as Starling jumps out from dummy half. picks up 20 metres, maybe more. Grabbed there eventually by Lomax. We've got one more here. Nice first carry from Tom Starling. Goes back to Fogarty. He puts it high in the air. Moga looking almost directly into the sun. Makes a terrific catch there. Got a slap across the eye for his trouble as well from one of the Raiders' chasers. That was impressive, looking directly into the sun there. A bit of a slap on the left cheekbone or thereabouts for his trouble.
And the Dragons will have to be alert. We just saw Tom Starling, his first run out of dummy half there, market play. Anthony Griffin would have drummed into him all week. When he comes on, he's going to run. If you're left on the ground, look out.
Here's Bird. Oh boy, he'd like that moment back. He might get lucky here. In fact, he does. He put it on the toe. There wasn't much happening. It looked like it was going to be the most simple of turnovers, but they end up with it through Fionney, and here is DeBellin for Hunt. The numbers on that right-hand side. The experienced number 7 hangs on to it, though, and is wrapped up by Croker and also Whiten. They've got one more. Stewart ends up with it. Does he realise it's the last tackle? I don't know that he does. Ball pops out the back. Play on. Sloan. He gets it away. In the end, it's Canberra who end up with it. Don't know if any of that was in the playbook from the Dragons.
No, definitely not. It was a play the ball 10 metres in. They took on a short side, but Ben Hunt was playing the football, and obviously with a young half in Amon and a young fullback in Sloan, the Dragons needed someone to stand up and take that kick, and no one did. It went to the back rower, and they just make a sort of last play up and just turn the football over without a kick.
Now Gula has put it down. All coming free there in the tackle, not ripped out by the Dragons, says the referee, and they'll come back on the attack.
Messy from both sides at the moment. No patience and don't want to build a football game.
The Dragons, with possession now, have completed 10 sets from 16. The Raiders are 13 from 17. Slightly better completion rate. The Dragons have coughed it up in the last few sets. We'll see what happens here as Amon takes it to the line. Grabbed there by Ray Gula. 2 plays left, just outside the 10. DeBellin for Hunt. Turns them inside out, knocked down there. Croker ends up with it, but it will be 6 more plays coming up for St George Illawarra.
Yeah, Ben Hunt was just looking for someone to run into some space, hit a hole, but they're all on the next wave and just wanted the football and try and strip him for numbers, where Ben Hunt had wanted someone to explode into the hole, get one-on-one with an opposition defender, but no one did. Be disappointed with that shape on that right-hand side.
They've had a heap of chances. Let's have the Raiders at the other end, it has to be said. Defensive both teams well on top here this afternoon. Little from the back of the scrum. Awkward ball there to handle for Amon. He gives it off to Kerr. And Starling defending out of the scrum. Had a handful there. And is there a problem with Josh Kerr? Certainly appeared to be. Clutching the lower leg. Or maybe the ankle. I think he's going to power over the top of Starling for a moment there. Gives him a pat on the shoulder. Says, nothing doing there, mate. Didn't mean to produce whatever happened to Josh Kerr. Little goes to Amon, shows it. Samuel was there. So was Gula coming across. They closed the door on him, but only just. Hunt looking for Sewer again. Can't quite get anything going on that right edge, both Ben Hunt and Jaden Sewer. The timing right on those hole runs from the edge forward from Little. It's looking at not getting anything going. This one goes to ground now, and Bird goes back to clear it up. The attack has left a bit to be desired. And there's good ball position so far from the Dragons. Here's Little jumping out of dummy half, almost losing it there as he was ankle tapped by Whiten. They've got one more. Sloan goes to dummy half. Hunt, cut out ball. Surely it goes forward, and the Raiders have held on.
Yeah, I spoke earlier about the Dragons, the way they play their football can be really dangerous because they don't actually set up for a shift shape back to the left. or a shift shape back to the right. They just, wherever they land, they play football, and that's Ben Hunt's style. He likes that type of football. But on this occasion, it just didn't work. We had the wrong person running the ball. Jacob Little got tackled 5. Now the wrong person at dummy half, had our fullback at dummy half. So it just didn't work for the Dragons.
They're certainly out of sorts in the chances they've had in this first half. We're only 6 minutes out, they're still at 0-all. Any chance of first half field goal here just to break the deadlock perhaps? You never know. It's that sort of season. Golden point games galore, exciting finishes. That rare occasion where it's 0-all at half-time. Big chance at the moment. Fogan in a dummy half. And Salo, who takes it across the halfway line. He'll play it here on the last for Canberra. They've been bombing. Now Fogarty will just chip one in behind. It'll sit down here. Sloan looks like some good body position and gets to the ground quickly. And they'll force the Dragons to work it away from the corner of the field.
That's better from the Raiders. That's the way you play your football. Just get downfield, kick it into corners, and then make the opposition come off their try line. They keep doing that, they'll get some good field position and they'll get points.
Second little move of the ball here out to that right edge where Hunt takes it to the line. Looking down over the top there by Hudson Young. And they're going to say that Hunt rather didn't maintain his feet having played the ball. And he might have picked up a hand injury as well in that contact from Hudson Young. This could really hurt the Dragons. Turning it over here, watch it again. Tried to play it quickly. Young still had contact with him and he slumped to his knees having played the ball. You can't do that.
No, you can't do it. I've seen worse play the balls, but anyway, he doesn't get away with this one. Big 4 minutes, 4.5 minutes for the Dragons now. We saw how good Canberra Raiders were to get a couple of repeat sets. Jack White now getting on the right-hand side of the football field.
Here come the Raiders. Pass from Tim McCaw to Kotrick was forward. It's that kind of day here in the nation's capital. Fans don't like it. Jack Whiten doesn't like it. You can't challenge a call of forward pass. Take a look here. I don't think there's much wrong with that.
No, I don't think it's so either. I think he's just definitely coming out of his hands, going backwards.
It's just the fact that Tim McCall was stopping under the pressure there of the Dragons' defence. The old optical illusion for the touch judge, perhaps. And here we are, 3.5 out from the break. Donut versus Donut at the moment on the scoreboard. And the last time we had that as Hunt puts a kick in. Sloan is on the chase. It'll beat everybody into touch. Double barrel chance there of maybe finding the touchline inside the 20, but he didn't manage that. And so as a result, it'll be Canberra who get possession back straight away, and Ben Hunt puts his hand up and says, "No, that's my mistake."
Yeah, I like the idea. Ben Hunt, he just needed to get his kick straight, and so it was a foot race right to the try line. It just kicks right and unfortunately goes out.
Last time we had a 0-all scoreline at halftime, round 19, 2021, Canberra against the Parramatta Eels. There we go. In terms of a 0-all draw, oh boy, now Samoa has put it down. Wanted a prize here for the next team to get through a set of 6, Shane.
Yeah, well, I'm sure both coaches can't wait to get their teams into the dressing room and just talk to them about attention to detail, getting up to play the ball, play the game the right way. Just get to play the ball. It doesn't have to be fast.
And certainly not the Raiders we saw last week at Suncorp Stadium in that win against the Broncos. They completed it almost 80% in that game. In this first half so far, they're now 14 from 20. It isn't flash. The Dragons are worse. They're 12 from 20. Here's Little staying alive from dummy half. Maybe they set up for the field goal right here to lead it 1-0 at the break. I'm not ruling it out. DeBellin comes back towards the middle. Amone bends away from Fogarty. See what Ben Hunt is thinking. Got 3 plays remaining in this set. Now left edge they go. Bird in trouble there. Got to ground quickly in the tackle of Chris and also Whitehead. From Lomax to Amon, to Bellin, to Ben Hunt. He finds Sloan using his speed. Surly to Moga. Plenty of green jumpers in front of him. He's got a big body though, and he went very close to scoring. I think it hit the deck, and the referee says yes. It took 39 minutes, but the Dragons find a way in on a shift from sideline to sideline, and the strength of Tautau Moga, with plenty of work to do, opens the scoring for the Dragons.
Well, just put it down to Tautau Moga's strength. The Dragons, they shift to the right-hand side, and there's not a lot to it. It's just out the back. And then they get Moga gets some space down the thing, but there's 5 Canberra Raider players there, and it looked like they're all over him, but he just shows his strength and awareness of where the try line is, just drops his hips and gets the ball down. Well done, Tautau Moga. But some poor defence from the Raiders. They get numbers there. They should have been better there. Without a doubt, a try.
Sloan did well. He put Croker under pressure, which opened up this gap on the sideline. As Sully did well on a catch and pass, and you see the put down there, no question. But he was, despite all that attention, an avalanche of green jumpers all around him. He left them on the ground. He was already celebrating. They were wondering how he beat them to the line.
Yeah, he's had some terrible injuries through his career, but every time he gets the opportunity in first grade, he makes the most of it. And he's definitely made the most of it this first half. He's gone down the sideline. They put him over the sideline on one occasion, but took a bit of stopping, and then on that occasion, got back inside. Too strong for him.
Now Lomax from out wide. You see the effect of that wind, the westerly blowing it well wide of the post. But at half-time here in Canberra, it took 39 minutes, but the Dragons are first on the board. They lead the Raiders 4 points to 0. Some darkening skies to the east of GIO Stadium. And a strong westerly blowing across this field today. Temperature in the mid-teens, but it feels a lot cooler than that. The Dragons make the catch off the restart through Moga, and they hand it off to Josh Kerr, who will begin here for St George Illawarra just inside his own 20. Big 40 minutes coming up. Dragons fans, of course, all the talk about the coaching scenario there and the pressure on Anthony Griffin. A similar situation last week in a tight game. They lost that one at the death against the Titans, 20 points to 18. Raiders would like to win here back at home, their third appearance here. 1 win, 1 loss so far this season, their home ground. To keep the momentum going off the back of that victory against the Broncos. As Hunt shows it here, Sully on the outside of Croker had him under pressure. Croker did well eventually to take down Moses Sully from the sideline. Last play here. Good metres for St George Illawarra. The kick, it comes down a metre short of the goal line. That's a great set to open up things for the Dragons in their second half after their handling Shane Flanagan. And it wasn't all that crash hot in the first half.
No, both sides' attack was pretty ordinary, to be honest, and we only saw that one try. But both sides just won't be consistent in things that they do. They've just got to get upfield and kick it into a corner and just keep doing that. Don't get bored with making the opposition come off their try line. And then they'll get some field position, and then hopefully they can get some rhythm.
Zach Lomax has been left on the ground here behind the ball as Horsburgh takes it forward. The Bellin there around the legs with Sewer over the top. Well, they both fall over from marker. One brought the other down. Canberra with one more. Fogarty will kick down the short side. And advance off a point, a leg breaker there for Sloan to contend with. They'll bring it back. The chase is good from the green machine. And Sloan will begin here 10 out from his own line. Keep an eye on Zach Lomax to see how he's faring. He makes his way very slowly back on side here for the Dragons. Not there now back behind the ball, but looks to be okay. Sulu comes in for a carry. Little. Now Sulu standing, thought about an offload. Young was aware of that, made sure he couldn't pop the ball out the back. Comes from Little back to Kerr. Good meters again here for the Dragons.
Get
On
up,
the
Jared.
halfway line again.
Yellow Hudson.
They'll play it here down the short side. Hunt will put the kick up.
Jacob Little.
It'll bounce between both Chris and also Kotrick. Kotrick hard to handle, and he's running best. Like a rubber ball at times, bouncing off defenders. Certainly came into the NRL with a real reputation as being hard to handle. And now Whitehead, he was almost away. Jack Bird says, I was onside.
I called you.
And he doesn't get any joy from the referee, despite pleading his case. He'll keep it going with the touch judge. And they say, no dice, Jack. Will be a penalty to the Canberra Raiders as we get downstairs to Darcy McDonald.
Just a half-time report from both coaches. Anthony Griffin wasn't happy with the 62% completion rate in that first half. He kept it pretty simple other than that and just asked the halves to take control of the game. As for the Raiders, Ricky Stewart told his men, get rid of the errors. 8 is simply way too many. Be patient with the ball when they get down there and they'll get the points.
Let's see if they can do exactly that as Chris takes them into Dragons territory. Plays it quickly as well, and Starling feasts on situations like that. He links up here with Fogarty, who brings it back midfield. And they're 25 away with tackles to burn here. Starling, Horsburgh, stepping off the right foot, dumping it out the back. He got fortunate there, could have gone anywhere. And now Whitehead, he gets away from the tackle of Lomax. Looking for something to open up here. Dragons are sliding from sideline to sideline. Oh, DeBellin, I can't believe I've just seen that. What was he thinking there, Shane?
Well, he wasn't. He definitely wasn't thinking. It was a silly lift a leg, puts him in a dangerous position on report.
Given what we know about trigger finger the referees have for sin binnings, he's fortunate not to be sent to the sin bin.
Yeah, I think obviously the player playing the football had a little bit to do with it as well. He sort of just flipped over. His head wasn't far off the ground, but it's a penalty every day of the week.
And the pressure continues here on St George Illawarra. As Fogarty comes out to Sebastian Chris. He was almost away. Bird grabbed him by the coattails only. From Starling, come back to Fogarty, bypasses a couple of forwards. Now Whiten, terrible pass there. Really out of sorts as far as the timing. Both teams in attack here today. Dragons have the one scoring play to speak of. Raiders still searching for theirs. Gula trying to spin. Here's DeBellin again with a leg in the air. This time a more conventional looking tackle. Starling from dummy half. Shows it to Horsburgh, comes out here to Sarlaw. Chance to offload, but Bird was up there stopping the pass, and now chance of Fogarty. It goes to Sebastian Chris. And a set of 6 from a penalty considered by Jack DeBellin. Sebastian Chris scores for the Raiders. They get the bonus set, and they make the Dragons pay.
Well, it was a clunky set. They shifted over to the left-hand side, and they didn't have much to offer. And then on this occasion, they just get to the far post, and then they shift out. And Fogarty just throws a beautiful ball. It's a bad read by the Dragons defensively. They just go to the wrong man, and he just goes into space and can't believe that he just has a clean lane straight to the try line. Zach Lomax goes up past the ball. Vinay goes up past the ball. He has a clean run to the try line.
Looking sloppy with the ball again earlier in that possession. There's a nice crisp piece of play on that right edge for Sebastian Chris. A surplus of numbers there for Canberra to find a gap on the outside of Zach Lomax. 4 apiece, and Sebastian Chris has done admirably well to fill in the fullback position to begin this season for Xavier Savage, who suffered that broken jaw, of course, back in the pre-season challenge. He made his return today, so it'll be interesting to see what Ricky Stewart does as far as the fullback role is concerned. He said Savage, with a limited preparation for this season, quite obviously needed some runs under his belt in the New South Wales Cup before returning to the NRL.
And we see, the Canberra Raiders got the field position because of 2 penalties. Jack Bird up on the 20-metre line. Referee called him out. He believed that he made the 10, and he got back and got involved in the tackle. And then we go further up the field, and Jack DeBellin does that lifting tackle, which was, uncharacteristic and silly. gave the Canberra Raiders another set in really good field position, and they come up with points.
A real coach killer, that one. Croker here from just outside the 20. Put Canberra in front, had a great night with a boot against the Broncos, and he puts Canberra with their noses in front here against the Dragons. Terrific kick from out wide. He judged that westerly beautifully there, and watch the work of Fogarty with that pass right across the face of one ball carrier there into Sebastian Chris, who dives in, and then Croker from out wide. It's the Flames flying here in the nation's capital. They lead 6 points to 4.
Well, Sebastian Chris has done an admirable job filling in at fullback over the opening 7 rounds. He's averaging 170 metres per game, set up a try last week and gets one today. But the backline could be set for a reshuffle. As you mentioned, Warren Xavier Savage successfully returned in New South Wales Cup earlier today. He played on the wing, scored a try. That was just ease his confidence back into it. Speaking to him earlier, he's now got his sights set on getting that #1 jersey back.
Savage does return. When he does return to the fullback role, which he will at some stage, it'll be a decision then. Sebastian Chris, of course, and Jared Croker both vying the same spot at left centre. Jared Croker playing game number 294 here today.
That'd be lovely to see him get his 300th game. It's been a fantastic play for the Raiders.
And starting from dummy half, comes back to Horsburgh. We've got one more here. Good meters for Canberra on the set off the back of points. Fogarty. That's the kick taken down there by Berg. We'll wait and see what the referee thinks of that contact. Well, so with all the talk about Anthony Griffin, all you can do as a coach is get them ready and put them out there on the field, and then you watch your team give away absolute hair-brained penalties like the last 2 we've seen.
Yeah, I can't argue with you there, Warren. Especially the way the modern game is today. You know you can't have contact or late contact with the kicker, and on that occasion I don't think it was definitely wasn't high. You just got to go there and tackle him or catch the kicker, make him kick early. Anytime they hit the deck like they do, it's going to be a penalty.
It was one of the themes off the back of their loss last week against the Gold Coast Titans, where they went down 20 points to 18. They began that game Francis Molo being sin bin in just the 4th minute, and eventually, of course, suspended for 3 weeks as well. But you take the kicker down in a fashion like that without making a conventional tackle, just shoving him to the ground while he's in midair, it's always going to be a penalty.
Well, as a coach, we're telling them to go and get the kicker, go and tackle the kicker, or make him kick early. But on that occasion, Jack gets penalised because the kicker is in the air, and it's a dangerous tackle. You can't hit the player when he's in the air. He must have his feet on the ground.
There is Anthony Griffin. He is making plenty of headlines, or certainly plenty of headlines being written about him. He might need something a bit stiffer than that Coca-Cola he just had a drink of there, if they keep producing penalties as they've done since the resumption. Croker, odds on to be slotting this one, and he bends it back between the uprights, and Canberra, after being down 4-0 at halftime, now lead 8 points to 4. 10 minutes into this second half. Of course, Club Rugby League is back. Your kids can learn the fundamentals of footy in a safe and supportive environment. You can come to the games as well and cheer on your team. Plenty of young Canberra fans doing exactly that today. You can find out what it's all about. You can join your local Club Rugby League team today. And go to rugbyleague.com to find out more about it. PlayRugbyLeague.com is where you go to find out more how you can get involved as a junior in this great game. And the sun breaking back out. A mixed afternoon for the weather, a mixed afternoon for both these teams to this point, but the Raiders on top at the moment. We've got half an hour remaining before we send you north to the Eels against the Bulldogs, live right here on Fox League Sunday Ticket. Horsburgh, all playing for Starling. Comes across to Sarlaw, right head there in support. He's a busy type forward. Sami Sarlaw still looking for his first try in the NRL. Here he is today, playing in game number 34. Whiten playing it there. Back to Fogarty. Good defensive set from the Dragons this time, and an equally good kick from Canberra. Sloan, I think he kept it in play legally. He tries to bring it back from the in-goal area. Starling stops him from doing so. A potentially spectacular play comes to naught through the efforts of that man. Fogarty with the kick, and then Sloan leaves the ground. It was all good until Starling got there to spoil the party.
Well, we haven't had much exciting football in this game, but there's two special bits of play just there. The kick and then the awareness of Sloan just to jump from the field of play and then get the ball back in, and then some really good kick chase, and then they get him in goal.
And the ball goes 10 eventually after bouncing. Fourth goal line dropout forced by the Raiders here this afternoon. Kotrick out of dummy half. Special piece of play by Jamal Fogarty as Canberra deep on the attack. Here's Starling again. Sarwar going close there to getting across the top of Jack de Belin. And a metre out. Horsburgh here. And we have red jumpers in front of him. On the left-hand side set. Fogarty and Wyden. Here is Chris. And the bounce out of the contact there of Ben Hunt. Jaden Sewer helps out from the inside like a good edge forward should. And Canberra have one more. Wyden shows a dummy. He takes it to ground. He thought he might catch the markers out there, but they were sweating on him. They've turned it over just a metre out from the Dragons line.
Yeah, and that man there, Ricky Stewart, won't be happy with the way they're attacking, especially down on that try line. It's too sideways. They're setting up short and trying to come around on the same wave and beat the Dragons to speed on the outside. It's just not working at the moment. They need to make some adjustments.
Change here for the Dragons. The 19-year-old Toby Couchman out there now. And just his fifth game in the NRL. It's a very likely type from what we've seen through the first month of his young career. De Belin goes to Hunt. Here is Sewer. Put it away from Whiten, Croker. Whiten came again to try and hold him up here, but he gets to ground in time. Those dark skies disappeared for the moment. It's sunny in the extreme now. Sewer gets up limping. Switch there from Hunt to de Belin. One more play here. De Belin almost played it too quickly. As Hunt puts it in the air. Tough one to catch once again coming in. Kotrick doesn't want to know about it. Now there's a chance for Bird, who got taken down by Kotrick. This will be, you would think, a professional foul in that situation.
Okay. Time off. Nick. Yeah. Nick Kotrick. Nick.
He knows what's coming. He doesn't want to go to the referee.
He knows what's coming, all right.
Professional foul.
And there was no doubt about that. Once the ball hit the deck and he was in a shoulder-to-shoulder race with Bird and took him down, boy, he's clutching at that hamstring.
Okay. Just hold the mark on the numbers.
He's had hamstring issues already this season, and now here he is as he left the field there, feeling that right hamstring going off the field. We'll have more news on that from Darcy potentially. For the moment, though, he's got 10 minutes to think about things back in the dressing room.
Yeah, well, if it is a hamstring injury, it's not a good place to go and sit down for 10 minutes and try and come back. So it'll be interesting to hear from Darcy.
And here are the Dragons, trailing by 4 points. But against 12 men and a full set here from close range. Little to Hunt. Amon goes out the back. Sloan, long ball. Fionney, he dives in. The Dragons score immediately. Terrific work by them down that left-hand side. The passing was sharp, and Fionney finishes.
Yeah, exactly right. It was a beautiful finish, but it was really smart work from the whole football team because they got their spine, the 7, the 6, and the 1 all on the same side of the field. And then it's a beautiful pass. Gets him on the outside and too much speed, and he gets into the corner, but really smart play. Go to where the man's down. They went to the middle part of the field and came back where the Canberra Raiders were short one. Some nice execution, passes out in front. And that last pass is a gem.
Certainly was. And they went, as you said, straight to the position the man who's in the sin bin normally inhabits. And Fionney, a nice dive to make a bird of it. 15 tries now in 34 career games for Matt Fionney, whose brother Max is in the New South Wales Cup. Twin brothers. It's been Matt who's had the chance now for a season and more to be this left winger for the Dragons. He showed why there with a good finish. Lomax. Breeze hurting him off the right-hand side here. Some sort of adjustment he can make from the touchline. Now swings wildly to the left-hand side, helped by that Westerly. We stay locked up at 8 points all. Watching on, despite the cheap penalties they gave away, which hurt them with the try to Sebastian Chris. They hit back the Dragons, and Kotrick goes to the sin bin, and we've got a good last 24 minutes coming up. It's taken a while for this game to warm up, Shane, but I think we got there.
Yeah, it has, and it's definitely heated up now. This last 25 minutes is going to be exciting, and that's what Jack Bird brings to a football team. He just competes so hard. The ball hit the deck, and then he chased after it, and he just wanted it more than the opposition. And then they come up with the foul, and then all of a sudden the Canberra Raiders are down a player. They get points, as we watch in the dressing room, him getting treatment to that leg. It'll be interesting to see if he can come back.
And he was feeling very up high on that hamstring, just below the buttock as he left the field. He saw the attention there of the trainer in the Raiders dressing room. So we'll see how he fares once he returns, if he does return, of course, Nick Kotrick. But he's still got almost 8 minutes remaining. So terrific chance here for the Dragons. This was 12-man team for a long time here. It was middle period of the second half. How much they can make of it. Well, Kotrick is gone in the sin bin. Now Little brings it back to the halfway line. Starting around the legs there. Sloan to the Bellin. Now Hunt. Big meters here. Sewer for Suley. It's all in one direction, and eventually they have to hit the brakes through Moses Suley. We'll play it at the Raiders 30. Last tackle here. Hunt puts it up out towards the wing, normally inhabited by Kotrick. Timakor is there. He makes a good catch. Looking up into the sun like Kotrick before him. And he makes the catch to put them out of trouble as Whitehead brings it towards the 20. See what sort of energy the Raiders have got left here. They were good in the death last week in that final 20 against the Broncos. And it's Hunter Young from the left-hand side of the field taking a carry, bringing it to the 30.
So they've got to find something at home. They haven't been great at home, and they had the big loss there last time they were here. They've got to find some energy, and that man there with the football should bring it.
Lee with the carry, 53 metres today before that run right there. Now driving low kick, and now Sloan wants it to keep rolling, and roll it will. And he thought about playing at it. And 7 tackles from their 20.
It's not the worst kick from that field position. They get their line set. The Dragons had to get all their players behind the 20-metre line. Zach Lomax jumps out of dummy half. He needs to get the ball in his hands and take some pressure off his middle forwards in this last 20 minutes.
And a change with Masami Solo coming from the field. I believe they're involved in the tackle with Hudson Young. Nasty gash around the left eye. I thought we could see out of that left eye given the bandage. As a moan comes to Lomax again. With hands once more to that left edge. Good tackle by Fogarty, who's been strong on that edge for Canberra defensively. As Bird finds DeBellin. Do plenty of ball playing in the second half is Jack DeBellin. Laurie wrapped up there by Young. Wanted to play it quickly. Here's Hunt. Players in motion around him. He comes back to the middle. Hudson Young had his back turned. Good tackle eventually there by Emre Gula, but they weren't onside. And Hudson Young is penalised as well for some contact above the shoulders there on Ben Hunt. And from beside the uprights, despite having this one-man advantage, you'd imagine they'll take the 2 points.
Yeah, you would think so. 2 points available in this really tight game. As Ben Hunt makes his decision.
Well, he's going to make it. They'll make it quickly here. The kicking tee's already out there. Zach Lomax taking his time to come in to line this up because, well, the seconds are ticking by. Getting closer to, of course, being 13 on 13 again.
Yeah, correct. He's been in the wars today, Ben Hunt. He hurt his hand earlier. Just on that occasion, just got one around the head. He's their most important player, and they need him on the football field. We need Zach Lomax. The Dragons need Zach Lomax to get the ball in his hands. We saw Jack Bird over on that edge creating some havoc. Lomax just needs to get the ball in his hands and run.
And beside the uprights, the Dragons find themselves in front once again. A seesawing contest, low scoring as it is. It's St George Illawarra 10 who lead Canberra 8. Anthony Griffin watching on while his team has this one-man advantage still, with Kotrick undergoing a bit of a fitness test back in the dressing room there for Canberra. Beyond this game, of course, the Parramatta Eels against the Bulldogs. Two arch rivals from those great clashes back in the 80s. Really set that rivalry alight all those 40 years ago. And they met in some big games beyond that time as well. They'll meet again today. And a big one, we'll see that right here on Fox League. Time off for the moment. While we wait, I think, for a kicking tee. Yes. For Jamal Fogarty. There is now, this wouldn't ordinarily be happening on the sideline for Nick Kotrick. Limited space in the dressing room to try and undergo a bit of a fitness test on a hamstring. He's still feeling it. At the moment, I'm backing him out to return.
It's such a big replacement as well if you lose a winger. Most of the other positions, you can move your edge-back rowers out into the centres and so on, but you just haven't got a permanent replacement to go to that wing, and it is a specialised position.
See if he does return. Boy, it's a risk if he does, though, given he's been out of action with a hamstring strain. And here he is back. As Lomax links up with Fina. He put him under huge pressure there. Well, then eventually the ball came back to Lomax. He provides a party trick back on the inside. Now there's a problem with Junior Ramon, who got caught awkwardly there in the tackle from Elliot Whitehead. Might be a bit to look at here. First off, this effort against the sideline. Fina did enormously well. He had a foot on the line. Play was allowed to continue on. Lomax flicked it on the inside here for Ramon. It was just a regulation tackle from Whitehead, but that sideline effort certainly forced Fina into touch.
Surely we'll go back and look at that play. And this next bit is not important. It's definitely not a hip drop. People think there was a hip drop. It was just a tackle around the legs. Unfortunately, his ankle just gets caught underneath.
The stoppage there, I would have thought the Raiders were entitled to launch a captain's challenge. And it was a stoppage, and now Little taken down here by Corey Horsburgh. Little thought he wasn't square at marker and appeals to the referee. Still 2.5 remaining with Kotrick off the field. Pressure here on Sebastian Chris. Bird was there. This time lets the catcher make the catch. Drops off on the effort, and as a result, Chris brings it back to the halfway line. Great effort by the fullback.
Oh, that's a great catch. In traffic, having to come forward.
Big chance here for Canberra. Despite being a man down, use up some time on the clock, if nothing else, and let the Dragons work it away from deep inside their own territory, but they get a set restart here. Laurie laying on Papali'i too long. And a new set of 6 from just outside the 20 as Starling will find Fogarty. On the inside there for Tarpany, taken down by DeBellin in a good tackle. Here's Horsburgh. Keeps it going for Wyden. Chris is there. Croker gets the outside shoulder of Sulu, who stayed with him. And this will be another set restart for Moga, this time flopping in over the top. So again, the Dragons, their discipline hurting them here in this second half. They lead by 2 points. The Raiders may have a bit to say about that in this situation. Johnson Young. Nasty looking left eye, isn't it? We'll play it here for Starling. Comes out the Papali'i. Oh, Bird up in his face. That was good contact. Papali'i didn't enjoy that. Here's a bit of what for Bird on the ground. Fogarty comes out to Whitehead. Whitehead did well. Pass just sitting there for him. Could have easily hit the deck. Timokor out of dummy half. Oh, what strength and speed he has! Like a green bullet, he flies in to score. Canberra hit back 12 on 13. It's 12-10 their way.
Well, he just wanted it more. He just got out of dummy half. He's powerful. He's built low to the ground, and he just gets out and just shows, I'm going to run hard and fast into the space. Just beats 3 tackles there. Jack Bird not happy with the way his team defended in that front line. Just jumps out, goes through the space. There was a big tackle earlier from Jack Bird on Papali. One-on-one needed to be made, but on this occasion he just wanted it too much.
Well, the set restarts and that ill discipline from the Dragons inside their own 20, giving the Raiders bonus sets of 6 there. The back end after the pressure tells the Dragons defence. Timokor with his speed, and he's such a likely type. He is quick, he is strong, both with the ball and in defence as well. Line break for tackle busts today. He picked up a big one right there. Nick Kotrick, he puts the jacket on and returns to the bench. It looks as though his afternoon is over.
It sure does, and it's a tricky one, coming back from a hamstring, and then you feel it go again. Disappointing. He'd probably hoped that he could get it right. Got some treatment in the dressing room, but if it's not right, it's not going to come good in with a 10-minute break. What a big take by Chris. That kick from Ben Hunt in the middle part of the field just needed to be made. If he doesn't make that, the scoreboard doesn't change and they don't get into field position. A big play from the Raiders fullback.
There is Jared Croker. What a tally he has racked up throughout his career. He adds 2 more points here. And with just under 16 minutes remaining, Canberra 14, the Dragons 10. So we get downstairs to Darcy McDonald.
As we can see, Nick Kotrick is getting his right hamstring iced. He won't be back today. I'm told it's not a serious injury, but they're just being ultra cautious, especially with the bye next week. It'll give him a bit of a break. So Corey Harawira-Naidoo will come on into the right centre, and Matt Timokor will move to the wing.
As we saw from Matt Timokor, doesn't matter where he plays, he'll have a crack and produces points here to give them back the lead here. Not only be a minor one as far as the medical staff at Canberra are concerned, but when you have a recurrence of a hamstring strain, never a great sign, Shane, and we'll wait and see how long he is out for. They'd like him fit and firing, how damaging he can be. For the moment, though, he watches on for the remainder of today. Beyond full time, of course, we're headed for the Eels and the Bulldogs. Stay right where you are. We're supposed to see both games this Sunday, live right here on Foxwell. Start for Tarpon. Back to 13 on 13. Whitehead out there playing centre role as Whiten kicks from well inside the 30. The breeze blowing this one towards that far touchline. Oh, a little touch there from Terrell Sloan. Crowd held their breath. They thought there might have been a moment coming up with a knock-on from the visiting fullback.
Well, that's Ricky Stewart's coach football team. Score points. First 2 or 3 carries really powerful and kick early. They kick on tackle 3. Now they reap the reward and they get possession.
Corey Harawira-Naidoo has waited a long time for a chance in this game. And here they are. From 10 metres out. They can blow it open. Here's Croker for Hopewadi. He didn't get it down. He put it on the corner post, but they went as close as that to taking a big step towards their 3rd win of the season.
Oh, I think the Canberra Raiders might have just wished that they just didn't. They get the steal here and then they pull the trigger early and go to the edge. Croker gives it to his wingman, Hopewadi, and he was never going to score there, unfortunately, for the Raiders. They pull the trigger early and just don't come up with points.
Great defence by Tau Moga. That desperate effort on Hopewadi to push him into the corner post.
Joseph square. Hold now.
The Dragons here just outside their 40. Laurie's shaking his head with a penalty there. As a moan comes to Sloan, bypasses Lomax. He has to get the ground there. Underwood and Nida off the bench. That big play to give the Raiders a chance. They went so close to making this at least a 2-score game. Hunt for Sloan. He's left, he's right. Here he is, linking up with Surley. He'll take them on. Turns it back on the inside. Little flick pass out the back, went to nobody, and Whiten cleans it up. He was building for the Dragons there. Surley ran himself into a dead end, and he put it on the turf.
Yeah, looked promising. Sloan, a nice little flick pass out the back to Surley. He was in space. He just couldn't find the right person to give it to. In hindsight, probably should have taken the tackle. But the Dragons look good when they shift it from sideline to sideline, and they need to. 13 minutes to go. They need points.
Raiders with by far the better of possession in the second half, and they've completed most of them as well. Fogarty, tackle on the last, takes one kicking option away, but Whiten puts the left boot on it. He wants this to not go touch in goal. I think it found the touchline about a metre or maybe less out from what is left of the corner post. And it will be the Dragons who begin deep inside their own territory. So not a bad result there for the Raiders nor Jack White.
Yeah, the Raiders, their attacks just starting to come together at the moment. They just need to be disciplined here now, make sure they don't give the Dragons any piggybacks out. And just keep kicking into corners. Jack White and Fogarty have been really good in this second half. Turn the Dragons forwards around and make them come off their try line.
And we get a chance again in Dragons territory. They might come out to their left-hand side because Tautau Moga isn't 100% out here on this right wing for the time being. Oh, Sloan has the ball ripped away. Cleaned up there by Hopewadi. They take him into touch. He stays in field. He went from the Dragons to the Raiders and then back to the Dragons. And here's Jaden Sewer. So the ball came from the Dragons, ripped out by the Raiders backwards. That was play on. And then the Dragons did the same thing to the Raiders.
Yeah, looked dangerous with Sloan going down that sideline. And as you said, just Canberra Raider just got his hand in with the football. And then Hopewadi just needed to stay on the ground, not go up for the second dip, and they put him over the sideline.
So from Mumbai, who does get a second stint here today. Sewer, Sloan. He's dangerous on both sides of the field. He'll play it at the 20. Slow play the ball there. Surrender was the call from the referee, so no restarting of the count. That pass there from DeBellin to Musgrove. It was very flat. Mumbai for Junior Ramon. No looker there for Jack Bird, but he puts it down. Maybe he thought it was going out the back and wasn't expecting that pass. Canberra hang on. We tip towards the 70-minute mark.
Yeah, it's always the price you pay with those no-look passes. Does that ball receiver or the runner take his eyes off it? Jack Bird should have taken that one.
So he was thinking he was the decoy and the decoy only. And the chance goes bigging there for St George Illawarra. Here's Hopewadi coming off his wing, taking a carry. Starling finds Papali'i. And the legs there was Laurie. Calf injury to begin the season. Josh Papali'i playing game number 4 today. Tarpley takes it back into Raiders territory, and Canberra have one more. There's Fogarty to put it in the air. Coming forward, Fionney is there. He makes a very good catch. And the Dragons will begin at their own 20. On a tough afternoon for the back three of both teams. They've done extremely well.
Yeah, and as we saw with Sebastian Chris, a really good take there from the Dragons. They just need to get downfield, get some good field position, because they've looked dangerous when they get the ball to Sloan on both sides of the field. He's a man to go to.
Corey Horsburgh off the field. It looks like his day might be over unless we do some overtime here today as we did last night in Newcastle. Now Surley stepping in behind Croker and also Young. 2 plays left in this set. From Mumbai it goes to Hunt. He bypasses the forwards. Amon holds it up. Bird, no looker there. Some balls have hit the ground in Gleeson sets for the Dragons, and then Fine runs in behind Lomax, so he has to give himself up. And they've only got one left here. Need a result. Amone puts it in the air. Lomax is the target. He leaps, taps it back in field. Still the last here for the Dragons. Bird spinning, needs to find an option. Kicks it across the field. Hunt was there, but so was Croker, the veteran. Almost a 300-gamer, cleans up for Canberra.
Well, it was a great kick, and we saw Ben Hunt charging through for us. They come up with an error, some good defence. Jack DeBellin over the top. Going to be no challenge. It's just a good tackle. Jack White comes up with the error. Dragons applying some pressure now to the Canberra Raiders. They end up with a good kick, but Croker, really smart, experienced, knew where it was going to. Ben Hunt getting through on it. And then this tackle again. Jack DeBellin over the top, loose carry. Yeah, he might have played at the ball, but you got to hold on to them.
Yeah, no suggestion there. That was a strip from Jack DeBellin. Ricky Stewart watching the replay, wondering why there maybe wasn't a captain's challenge, but they knew, just a loose carry from Jack White. Despite the Raiders having the better of possession in this last 10 minutes, against the Dragons here, they've only completed one of their last 5. They really lost their way with their handling today. They're 21 of 33. Barely at 60% for the game as far as completions are concerned. DeBellin. He goes to Musgrove. They trail by just 4, and now a strip. Hudson Young comes away with it. He's got some toe, so does Jaden Sewer. It's Young digging for the line. Lomax won't get to him. Hudson Young, he celebrates. And so does this big crowd in Canberra. What a turnaround in this game. The Dragons on the attack, and Hudson Young, who's a noted stealer, comes up with a huge play.
A noted stealer. It was really smart play. He knew he was on the football. He tackled the football. He told his teammates, there was 2 other players in the tackle, whatever the call is, to drop off, and they drop off. It's Musgrove carrying the football. He knows he's on the ball. They both drop off. It's a really good, smart play. And then he had the legs to go the distance. Sewer chasing. He's quick. Lomax coming from the other side. But the back rower, he's a footy player. He comes up with some strange things. We saw in the first half a kick to the in goal and gets his side a repeat set. But this is smart, and this is wanting to go to the game and wanting to win it for your footy team. Just don't. He goes in there and wants that ball. Smart play from the back rower.
I know what Zane Musgrove was thinking, and I know what most Dragon fans would be thinking. But Zane Musgrove might have been tackled. He had a knee on the ground. The ball and the arm carrying the ball certainly didn't touch the turf. And the referee, Jared Sutton, didn't think he was held, hadn't called held. He thought it was play on. Young played to the whistle and raced away to make this an 8-point lead. And Ricky Stewart is up there in the grandstand like he's back the Melbourne Cup winner at 100-1.
Yeah, he rides the emotions, Ricky Stewart, and that's a great try from the back rower. As I said, really smart play. Just gets in there, calls his teammates off, and steals the football. When he did it, he probably didn't realise he had to go 80 metres to score the try. But he's got some speed, he's got a cut above his eye. He won't even feel that at the moment.
And he did it with the blinkers on as well. He's had them for most of the game after that nasty cut in the first half. And now Jared Croker from beside the uprights, who's been perfect with the boot on his return to the NRL. He was great last week, and he hasn't missed one again today. Canberra with 5.5 remaining here at GIO Stadium, lead at 20 points to 10.
Well, Hudson Young has form in this clash. He scored the last 2 times the Raiders played the Dragons as well. He hit career best form in the second half of last season and has picked up where he left off. He's been vocal about his dream to play State of Origin, and you'd imagine he'd at least be in the conversation this year. Now, the Raiders know they've certainly got a star in Young and are said to be working on a new deal to keep both him and Corey Horsburgh at the club long term. And speaking of Big Red, he was up on his feet pacing down the sideline during his made over.
I bet he was, and now there might be another chance to celebrate because of the short restart. Sebastian Chris has come up with possession here for the Raiders. They can put it to bed if they can score in this possession. Now Starling jumps out from dummy half. The Dragons flat-footed defensively there. They'll rue their chances they've had in the second half. St George Illawarra. Tarpany. He's only 5 metres out. There's Young from dummy half. Fogarty and Papali'i in the back line. Whiten there under pressure from Lomax and also Bird. They'll play it with one left here. Starling out of dummy half. He'll be happy to take it to ground and force the Dragons to make it 90 metres upfield if they can.
Yeah, Fogarty goes in and talks to him. Fogarty wanted the football then. He had a kick on the end of it. You saw dummy half just jumps out and gets tackled. It's not a bad play, 10 metres in from the sideline.
Tackle 1.
4 minutes to go on the clock.
The Eels and the Bulldogs, they are next, live from Combank Stadium. Stick around for that one. We've still got 4 minutes remaining here. Ooh, Josh Kerr might have got away with a sloppy play of the ball there. Lomax, he comes out to Bird. Bounces off the Raiders' defence. Now Hunt showing it. Going to create some magic here to give them a chance. You can score here quickly. You just never know. DeBellin. He goes to Hunt. Musgrove now. Kerr pushing up in support with him. He'll throw it out the back like a quarterback. Amon does something similar. Bird hands it off for Lomax, but he's hemmed in there by a trio at least of Raiders defenders. Play number 5 in this set. And the moan for Kerr. And we'll see what the option is on the last. Hunt is flat. He's got Sloan out the back. He gets past Whiten very easily. Puts it on the toe as well, but Tarpany is there. He cleans up at the back. And the wicket, which becomes a father for the first time. Boy, he's got some cleaning up in his future, Shane, but that was great work there on his own line.
That was the big front row getting across to the fast corner to tidy up a kick. Just showed some real urgency as Timoko goes through the middle again. Sloan's looked dangerous for the Dragons. He's tried really hard, especially in this second half. He's been on the back of shape, had lots of touches.
And now here's Hopewadi. Just about away for the Chocolates as well. Brings it back to the halfway line. Starling. He'll come to Gula. Whiten waits for the ball. Young on his outside. Croker is there. Intercept by Moga. How much speed does he have? He sets sail for the line and he wins the race to give the Dragons a chance. We are not done with yet.
Well, when he took the intercept, I didn't think he'd had the speed, but the Canberra Raiders didn't have much cover coming, and Tautai Moga gets his second try. And there's a big kick coming from Zach Lomax. He doesn't want to take too much time, even though there is time off in the last 5 minutes of games. As we watch Whiten just going to the outside, Tautai Moga gets in the lane between him and the Canberra Raiders attacker, and he's away with the Chocolates.
Well, depending on what happens here in these last few minutes, they'll second-guess that play, that decision by Jack Whiten to go to an edge, leading by 10, and throw a pass that didn't really need to be thrown. Croker was going nowhere on his outside, and all they've done here is give St George Illawarra a chance off the back of the intercept. Tautai Moga has 2. He put in the big ones early. Coming across the field, Hopewadi couldn't get to him. And now a huge kick. In off the right here for Lomax. It misses. They will have time though. Trailing by 6. Anthony Griffin, grimace on his face. Tautai Moga has a double.
Yeah, he's played well. Really, showed his speed down the sideline then, and earlier on just showed how strong he was to get the ball down underneath 5 Canberra Raiders defenders. Ricky Stewart, a nervous 1 minute 40 here. Obviously, there'll be a short kickoff. They need to defend this well, and then just hold on. Oh, sorry, it'll be a long kickoff.
Yes. We're going deep. I don't want to go too deep, though, obviously.
Sloan needs to get the football in this set. They'll probably shift over to that left-hand side, or they'll stay here and then shift to the left, try and get Sloan with the football. But Sully's been dangerous on this side of the field as well. It's probably their best attacking side, but they're stuck in this corner.
Well, let's see what they've got. It's Sully. Takes a carry, looking for a quick play the ball. By finds Hunt. Throws a dummy, tries to catch him out through the middle. Whiten was there, and so was Tarpany. And By for Ramon. Lots of defence for Canberra, sliding to that right-hand side. They've used up 4 plays. They're not quite back at the halfway line. Laurie for Hunt. Hard ball to handle. Hunt did well. Sloan for Sully. They're back within 30 metres of the Canberra line. Last play, though. This could be the game right here. Hunt puts it in the air. Lomax is chasing. Chris is there. He knocked it on. Still on the ground. Whistle now. Knock on Canberra, and they will challenge.
Okay, Matty. Raiders are challenging the ruling of a knock-on.
It looked pretty clear-cut watching it live that Chris knocked it on in the challenge.
Correct. It looks... I think they're just throwing the challenge in there to get their breath, talk about what they need defensively from this scrum.
Is onside.
Lomax is reaching for the ball there. Does he get a hand to it before Sebastian Chris? It looked like it was the left hand of Chris on that angle
Ball
there.
comes off Sebastian Chris, just looking to see which direction the ball goes.
Imagine the referee was right in line with it, and his call was knock on Canberra. It'd be hard to overturn it.
The ball comes off Sebastian Chris and is knocked on. The challenge by the Raiders is unsuccessful.
Well, Dragons, have you got a scrum play here? They'll probably set it in the middle part of the field. A lot of their other scrum plays, they've just got Josh Kerr out of the scrum. Surely they don't go to Josh on this occasion. Do they have a shot straight away, or do they set up and have numerous shots left and right? 35 seconds, they'll only get 4 tackles maybe.
They do like that trick play down the short side on the right edge, which they've scored off in recent times. As we said against the Dolphins, they almost scored in the first half of it. You see what they work for here. It'll be a simple play for Sloan to just take them on one-on-one. Going a long way here. Young eventually stops him 5 metres out. He'll hold him down, won't worry about giving away a set restart. It'll be 10 in the bin for a professional foul. But there's only 17 seconds remaining. 13 on 12 for 17 seconds.
Moses, it's over here.
He had to know that was going to be the case if he held down that long in this situation.
And they're off the Dragons.
It's Laurie. He takes it inside the 10, and they have 1 play remaining. They need 6 points to send it to Golden Point. Hunt, he goes to Kerr. They stop him, hold him up, and the siren will sound. Canberra hang on. It was an absolute nail-biter at the death, and Ricky Stewart may need oxygen, but they get the job done. The Dragons come up agonisingly short once again, as they did last week against the Titans. Canberra go back-to-back, and they've nabbed their 3rd win of the season. They improve their record to 3 and 4. Ricky might need the paramedics, given what we just saw and that frantic finish. At full time here in Canberra, the Raiders 20, the Dragons 14.